What does it take to go from $0 to $1,000 per month? Let's say you have a skill, you know how to design websites, right? You reach out to 10 people in a day and they say no, and you think that's why you can't get to $1,000 a month doing that. You should now think about how to reach 1,000 people every single day for 30 days. At the end of 30 days, you would have reached 30,000 people. It becomes statistically impossible for you to fail. The thing that would stop people from getting to that mark is just there. You stop halfway. You don't put in the amount of effort that you need. If you try hard all the time, not sometimes, not a lot of times, not 90% of the time. If you try hard every single time, you will win. And some people say, oh, if you try your best and you lose, it's okay. But if you try your best and you don't win, it's a logic fail, because if you try your best, you are going to win. See yourself as the kind of person who will not stop until they get it right. People don't have the mental tenacity to put in the amount of reps that you need to hit the mark, because the journey from $0 to $100 is way harder than the journey from $100 to like $1,000. And it gets easier from them, because it's just the initial inertia to go from a state of doing nothing to just being in motion that is the toughest, because now you're going against everything that you've known. So once you've just gotten into that flow state where you start to see a little bit of progress, that's when it gets easier. But if you stop before then, you're going to go from this to another thing, to another thing, to another thing, and you're going to be average at so many things without ever getting to hit the mark in any one.
Hello, everybody, and once again, welcome to another episode of the Entrepreneurs Connect Show. As always, what we do here is interview African entrepreneurs across board in different niches, different sectors, different industries, people killing it. Okay, so for you to learn from them, from their journey, their story, their successes, their failure, and everything in between. Here, we keep no secrets. Okay, and today I have a very special guest in the house. Yes, all my guests are always special. Somebody I consider a friend and a brother, even though I just met him for the first time. Technically, it doesn't feel that way. His name is Princewill Chuka. Welcome, Princewill. How you doing?
Thank you so much. It's nice to be here.
Good to see you. Good to finally meet you. Why are you wearing black like me? Did you plan it?
Black is my favorite color.
Did you plan it?
Fashion these days is hard, so I just wear black, so I don't have to think too much.
I wear Bruno literally went through my stuff, because some of my stuff is in his house. And I said, Bruno, I need to send some stuff over to me here on the island. And he went through something. He said, I'm just saying black. I said, sorry, I'm a black guy in here. Great. So welcome to the show. How are you feeling? Hope good.
It's good. It's good to finally, be here to do this. I know we've been trying to pin this down for a while now, so it's good that we are finally able to get this done. So
Beautiful.
Let's get the ball.
Let's rock and roll. Yeah,
of course.
Beautiful. So I'd like you to start by telling us where your story begins. Where does the Princewill Chuka story start?
My story begins, of course, when I was born, but the story that is relevant to this conversation begins, I think, with the first ever shot I got at a job that was digital related. I think a year after school, I got a job to be a social media intern at one of undoubtedly Africa's biggest e-commerce company. It was Jumia Nigeria. And I think that is what, gave me the entrepreneurial hurdle that has, sort of led me to this point. Working for a brand like that in the capacity of a digital marketing intern, you just get to be exposed to so much intelligence that is in our country. To witness firsthand something amazing like Jumia being built, right? I mean, I was there from as far back as 2016. When a lot of things were being done in a very analog way, and I was there for every step of the improvement. The company is one of the companies that has like the largest digital budgets in the entire West and East Africa. So, working in that kind of space, there's a lot to learn. There's a lot of room to fail, a lot of room to experiment, and all that comes with tons and tons of lessons. So I think that's where my story starts from, and seeing firsthand how the digital economy is being birthed, right? How people scrolling through their phones turns to revenue, right? How the things we do in our laptops on social media turns to people clicking and going to go and make a purchase. It gets you thinking. It makes you now understand that I could do this, right? And one thing led to another, and I said, okay, I'm going to have my own little Jumia, and drop shipping is just an easy way to get into that. And a company like Shopify was how I, just basically executed that. I think the first thing I ever sold personally in my own individual capacity was like, I had like a pet store on the internet. They was targeting people in the United States. That's when I knew that, the way we treat our pets here in Africa and the way people treat their pets, they literally are the United
or their pets.
It's day and night.
Yeah.
So, I think the first thing I ever sold was a glove brush, right? It's like a brush people put on their hand, and it has like, and they would use it to pet their dog and take off excess hair. And, that product basically gave me my first $100. And then $100 was somewhere near 400,000. So it was a big deal for me. And it was basically 10 times my salary at the point. So, it light up a bulb in my head that this is something that I should definitely, put in more effort into. So that's where it started, basically. I think from junior, I started to work as a digital shelf manager for a company like HP, Nigeria. And
so this internet thing has been like a long time coming.
Yeah.
What year was this, the HP thing?
I think I joined HP in 2018.
Okay.
Yeah, HP Nigeria. I joined HP Nigeria in...
So you have always been an e-com guy, first of all.
Yes. Yes. And, but with HP, my job sort of expanded. It was not just e-commerce any longer. It was now sort of helping retailers, the partners for HP. I wanted to go from just being store owners in Computer Village to being able to sell their laptops and printers and all the stuff they buy from HP to people all over Nigeria. So we're sort of like the team that would help them go from having an offline shelf to having a digital shelf. And we're doing that for the entire English-speaking Africa. So, the entrepreneurial thing I was doing was sort of like a side hustle. And I was, combining my 9-to-5 for these multinationals to, doing things like e-commerce, selling my brain, right? And all of that. So, yeah.
We'll talk about that in a bit. But would you say you're a born entrepreneur, or do you think that life situations or circumstances made you to venture into entrepreneurship?
It's a little bit of both, because my father is a trader.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. My father is a trader. My mother is also a trader. So, growing up, of course, when I would go on holidays and I would travel to go see my father, he would give me his logbook and I would try to sell too. So trading, as an Igbo man, it comes with the blood too.
100%.
I mean, growing up, all the stories my dad would tell me, he would always draw from how trading has been the thing that pulled our entire community up from the 1970s after the Civil War in Nigeria. So, when you ask yourself who you are as an Igbo person, for the large part of it, you're always going to be able to draw some similarities between, anything you're doing and trading, right? So, I was not going against the grain, trying to learn how to trade and sell stuff online. It was just basically like a water slide experience for me. So
Awesome. Tell me about selling your brain for a bit. Selling your brain is like, people don't understand that. What do you mean when you say selling your brain?
So when you look at what we call high income skills today, digital skills, you'd realize that a ton of all these skills are not things that you can go learn in any federal university or private university or secondary school in Nigeria. Things like Facebook ads, for instance, YouTube ads, how to create a website, right? Or learning how to code. Now we have some new kind of unconventional schools that teach these things. Well, 2 decades ago, they did not exist. So most of the people who are like the industry leaders and experts in digital skills like this, many of them were either self-taught, learned from other people. And I've always known that if you are someone who has a skill that is uncommon, you have some knowledge that is uncommon, that is a new idea, like how to code, how to build landing pages, you're a great copywriter, for a fact that you cannot learn this thing by going to school. You either learn it from someone or you learn by doing and making mistakes. So it puts a burden on you, right? You already have a social duty or responsibility to share that knowledge. Now, whether you decide to profit from sharing the knowledge or sharing it for free, that's up to you. But when I say selling my brain, that's what I mean. It means sharing the knowledge that I've been able to gather from the experiences I've had, the people I've worked with, the experiments I've tried, right? And all of that coming together, giving it to as many people as I can in form of free content, paid content. So that's essentially is selling my brain.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So how did you get introduced or immersed into the world of selling your knowledge?
So I realized that when I would always tell people what I was doing with dropshipping, how, when I would always share my results, the next thing that started happening was a lot of people trying to learn, right? They want to learn how to do e-commerce. They want to learn how to run ads, how to build the kind of landing pages that will convert, how to even find the products that are winning products, right? So that led to me, making videos to sort of share this knowledge with people. But then, of course, what happens with that is as people get sucked into the kind of content you're making, they want to do more, you now become compelled to give them more sort of assistance to get it done, show them exactly what mistakes not to make. So that's where, creating the content that people now want to buy into, either they're buying it with their free time or buying it with money, that's what led to selling my brain, right? Showing people exactly how to do all of these things, right? How to, run Facebook ads and not...
Where did you get the boldness to charge? I mean, so did you buy somebody else's training, or how did you know that, okay, this is how much I should charge ideally?
The thing about, the confidence to collect money to teach people is it comes from seeing other people do it and knowing that it's a good thing, because now you're sharing knowledge that they will not have gotten anywhere otherwise. So I think one of the earliest people I started to learn from, my mentor, Mr. Ronald Nzimara, I started to learn how to write and how to sell digital products from just watching him and reading all of his material, right? And, it just, it lit something in my brain that this is something I could easily do. And then, he said something one time I really picked up, that if you know something, if you have a knowledge that it's uncommon and it is useful, right? It puts you in a unique position where you now have a duty to actually share that. Because when you don't share that sort of knowledge, you are now a very selfish person. So, the model, the method you want to use to pass this information, across to as many people as possible, now comes down to you. But the bottom line is you now have a duty, a responsibility to share it, because it's even more painful to watch people make the mistakes they should not be making, right? If they have come across your content, if they have come across the right kind of training. That's where I got the inspiration to sort of create courses, create digital products that people can buy, watch, learn, to do things the right way if they want to, get into e-commerce, affiliate marketing, basically.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So are you very big on personal development?
Yes. Big resounding yes. Personal as a person, at every point in time, I am always learning something. I'm always there's always a new challenge in front of me, right? And every time I look back and I can remember, when I was in school, I remember I was doing radio on the side, right? I was working at a radio station.
Oh, wow.
Presenter.
Wow. What did you study in school?
I studied industrial engineering, music. It was a free gig. I would always go to the studio twice a week to go do radio presentation. And then I just figured out that, if I'm going to get ahead in the world, communication is going to be a big part of it. And learning how to communicate effectively, right, is going to help me a lot. So, and one way to easily do that is to go be among radio presenters, because all they do is talk.
Well, was that where you learned to communicate from?
I think a lot of my communication skills comes from there.
Wow.
You learn how to think on your feet. You learn how to know a little bit about everything, right? A common exercise we used to do was, we just have random people, just have people say random words, and for every word they say, you have to speak for a minute about it, right? You do that kind of exercise for 3 months. You find out that you just are the kind of person who knows just a little bit about everything to speak for 1 minute.
I'm still very good at that.
I can try.
So if I give you one random word, I speak for
I can try.
Let's 30 seconds.
Okay.
Okay. The word is information.
Information. You see, anything that anybody does not know and they try to learn it, it becomes an information. Anything that can put you ahead of the next person is something they do not know. And so that's a whole new information for them. So, information is really important. And, it'd be nice, it'd be bad to stay on a phone, because ignorance is very expensive. So you don't want to be ignorant about anything. You want to know a little bit about everything to not get lost. So, whatever you do, right, don't stay ignorant, because ignorance is very expensive. I think information is expensive. You should try cost of ignorance. Yeah. So
Because if you're not informed, you may basically. Beautiful. That's some skill. That's some skill, you know.
but you know, you need to know how to weave it.
Yeah.
Unless you can start to ramble.
Yeah, I'm sure.
You know, you don't want to do that.
True.
Yeah.
So you took up the side gig in school.
Yeah. And, you know, after school, right, learning social media marketing. And, you know, after school, I thought I was going to work in, you know, in a technical capacity.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I studied industrial engineering in school. That's what I learned for 5 years. So then I thought everything I was going to do after that was going to be around, you know, engineering. But, you know, life has other plans, right? And the journey to learning social media, advertising, all of that was, you know, started because I wanted to develop. So I started taking courses, watching videos on YouTube to get better, right? Taking up jobs in that aspect, right? And even when I had a job that was taking up my time, I knew, okay, I need to learn how to do this on my own. You know, started a website, trying to learn how to do this effectively and make money from it, right? So at every point I can think of in my past, I was always trying to get better at something. Even when jobs and business was going well, you know, I decided to go get an MBA. And that's because I saw
the MBA thing. That's true.
I just, you know, if you're not learning something new every single time, you're not challenging yourself, you're not moving, you know, there's stagnant is going backward. And, you know, you don't want that to happen because, I mean, kids these days they're growing fast, they're becoming better and better. So if you want to stay sharp, stay competitive, you know, if you don't want to hang around, if not, you become this old man who is old school and everything you now know is outdated and you don't want to be that guy. So personal development, you know, is something I'm very big on. And even right now, I'm always taking up new challenges. A year ago, I launched my marketing agency, right? And it's been a whole new experience trying to sell my skills, my service to businesses in North America. So this is a whole new field that I have never played in before, right? But a year ago, I took up the challenge and, you know, right now we're in a very great place. Personal development is, you know, it's something everybody should always strive to, you know, invest in, right? Because it's always going to be an investment that pays off.
But if you could look back, what are like the 3 most important books you've ever read?
First one is Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel. It's going to teach you about how to make money work for you, how to think about money. But you realize that in this part of the world, sometimes we have a weird relationship with money. People will always, sometimes don't like to talk about money. It's always that topic that everybody shies away from. They don't want to talk about how their spending habits are the reason for why they are where they are. And, you know, that's a book that can really expose you to some of the mistakes you're making in your life.
Sure.
Second book I would say that's been most impactful in my life is, I think, Sabri Subi, How to Sell Like Crazy. Amazing book, right? You read that book, you'd understand how advertising is the most profitable skill to have in the world. I mean, it's the only skill that you can wake up one day and turn $1 into 10.
I took the world by storm. So I started seeing Ricky back there, they're talking about HBCU. I said,
exactly. Exactly. You know, you realize that it's the one skill that you can have that you can use to turn $1 into 10 overnight, right? And it's because you know how to reach thousands of people. Because make no mistake, every single naira or dollar you want in this world is in the pockets of other people. And the only way to take it legally is by giving them something in exchange for it. So you have to find a way to give them a product or a service that they want and that they need, and find a way to make it appealing to them and get them to pay for it, right? And with advertising, you solve that problem. So if you know how to advertise efficiently, right, effectively, there's no reason for you to have, you know, financial problems. Right? It's either you're not doing it well enough or you're not, it just hasn't clicked yet for you. But it should if you just keep on getting better at it.
Awesome. So where did you learn how to advertise from?
Like I said earlier, a year after school, I got my first gig working for Jumia Nigeria, right? So I started out as a social media intern, right? And inside of Jumia Nigeria, I wore a lot of hats, right? From social media to email marketing to push notifications to paid ads, right? You wear all these hats, you become good at so many things. And I think towards the end of my time in Jumia Nigeria, I became sort of like the associate for paid ads. And Jumia Nigeria is undoubtedly the company that spends the most on digital advertisement I think in the whole of West and East Africa, right? I think the only company that would spend more than Jumia would be in either South Africa and North Africa, right? So, being in that kind of position, the company itself would expose you to the right kind of talent and training that you need to get very, very good. I mean, they don't want their money to waste, right?
That's true.
Exactly. So, that's sort of what I benefited from. And I think shout out to my bosses in Jumia then, amazing, amazing women. I had the real luck of just reporting to women all my career in Jumia, Nigeria, and it was amazing because the kind of women I worked with, they were exceptionally brilliant, and till today they still amaze me in the work that they do. So I think the tough love I got from the boss I had, right, really shaped me into becoming very efficient because she was brutally efficient, and it sort of rubbed off on me. So I think that's where I got really good at advertising.
Great. And the work you did at Jumia, how has it shaped everything you do in your businesses today?
Yeah, because, a lot of freelancers, entrepreneurs, they don't sort of work with the structure that a corporate environment would give you, right? If you do advertising in a corporate environment, there are KPIs, there are reporting lines, there are consequences, right? If there is a loss per day, per week, it has to be spoken about. There needs to be a plan to turn things around, right? You'd be shaking your boots literally if things are not going the way they're supposed to go. There are targets to meet, right? There's going to be a stand-up every day. People are going to criticize you if things are not going well. And you now need to have a structure to fall back on if things are not going, the way they should. So bringing that sort of, structure and rigor into my entrepreneurship journey, into my businesses, right? I think it's, it became sort of like my advantage, right? Getting really good at reporting, tracking, those are topics that are sort of foreign to some people, right? They recently, now a lot of people are talking about it.
Yeah.
You realize that, I think a few years ago, when I used to talk with my friends that were, doing affiliate marketing, I realized that tracking, reporting was not something that a lot of people paid attention to. And, I always like to remind people that what you don't measure, you cannot improve.
True.
Right? So, that is the rigor that I got from the corporate environment that really gave me the edge that I needed to, do things right in my personal adventure.
Great. So being involved in like marketing and sales for the past few years, what would you say is the most common mistake you see business owners make?
Everybody thinks that every idea is scalable, but not all ideas are scalable, right? So the one common mistake I see people make is some ideas are not scalable, right? And some ways of doing business are not scalable. Some small businesses have a structure of doing things that's going to make the business a small business forever. For example, you're talking to a business owner and each time you tell them about advertising, they see it as an expense, not as an investment. So that's a whole world of, that's a whole school of thought that is going to keep that business at a particular level for a long time, right? Sometimes you tell somebody who bakes cakes that they can make $1 million a day selling cakes. And to them, it sounds foreign because every time all they know and all the people they've talked to, people maybe sell 1-2 cakes per day. And they think it's impossible to sell 100 cakes a day. But it's possible because if they know the number of people that they need to reach, the way they need to structure the ads to reach people who have their birthdays around the corner, they will know exactly how much they need to spend to reach the kind of people who need to buy cakes and scale the campaigns to have 100 orders on cakes per day, right? But you talk about this kind of things to people and they immediately have a resistance to it because they don't want to spend on the business. They just want the business to keep on giving and they keep on taking and taking and taking. There's only so long that can go on for, right? That's why you see that, there's statistics that says that, most small businesses don't last up to 2-3 years, right? And it's mostly because of this kind of thinking. So I think, that's the one error I think, small business owners have. If it goes away, a lot will change. Yeah.
What's one of the best financial advice you've ever gotten in your life?
Don't spend before you have it.
Profound.
Right? Don't spend before you have it because it's very easy to plan and say, oh, I have XYZ amount coming at the end of the month. I have, so there's one 500K that's coming by so week. So, it's okay for me to blow 400 today. No, it's not, because you don't have it. So you don't have it yet. So don't spend what you don't have. That's one. And don't spend to impress. Like, because the things you buy that you think are impressive, they're only impressive to you. Promise you that, when you spend on, things, right, and you think that you're doing that to impress other people, promise you, they think about you and your things for like 2 seconds and they've forgotten about it and they're back to their own life, right? So you have like an over-bloated idea of what the impression you're building is. People have their own lives to live. So if your entire thinking of why you should make a purchase is to impress other people, then it's a bad idea. And there's one from Jay-Z that I think about all the time is, if you can't buy it twice, you can't afford it, right? It means that, if you can't buy it twice, you can't afford it. That means you should probably go for the thing that is just priced at the point that you can afford 2x of it. So, you think like this, you'd be smarter with your finances, basically.
Yeah, awesome. You've done like your digital business, your online business for a while now. You've made, I can dare say, multiple millions. Of course, we're not going to go around trying figures and all of that. But what would you say, people watching this now and they're ready to go into online businesses, they desire to start their own online business, what does it take to go from zero to, let's say, $1,000 per month?
What does it take to go from $0 to $1,000 per month? First, pick an offer, right? Pick an offer, pick a service, right? And validate the idea, right? If it's a product that you want to sell, if it's a service that you want to render, right? And you don't even have to validate the idea yourself. If you can look at 2 or 3 people who are doing it and doing it successfully, making money from it, it's already validated. Second thing is, see yourself as the kind of person who will not stop until they get it right. Because what I see a lot, the thing that would stop people from getting to that mark is just there, right? You stop halfway. You don't put in the amount of effort that you need, right? If you give something your best, if you try hard all the time, not sometimes, not a lot of times, not 90% of the time, if you try hard every single time, you will win. You will win. And some people say, oh, if you try your best and you lose, it's okay. But if you try your best and you don't win, it's a logic fail, because if you try your best, you are going to win. Because make no mistake, God is watching all of us and he's seeing those that actually try the hardest. And he's going to reward those that actually try. So if you actually try, not pretend to people that you try, not try when people are looking at you, try when no one is looking, like you put in the work. Let's say you have a skill, you know how to design websites, right? You reach out to 10 people in a day and they say no. And you think that's why, that you can't get to $1,000 a month doing that. You should now think about how to reach 1,000 people every single day for 30 days. At the end of 30 days, you would have reached 30,000 people. It becomes statistically impossible for you to fail. So that's, one other thing. People don't have the mental tenacity to put in the amount of reps that you need to hit the mark. Because the journey from $0 to $100 is way harder than the journey from $100 to like $1,000. And it gets easier from them, because it's just the initial inertia to go from a state of doing nothing to just being in motion that is the toughest, because now you're going against everything that you've known, all your characters, all your bad flaws, all your laziness, all your impatience. You're going to be fighting all of that. So once you've just gotten into that flow state where you start to see a little bit of progress, that's when it gets easier. But if you stop before then, you're going to go from this to another thing, to another thing, to another thing, and you're going to be average at so many things without ever getting to hit the mark in any one. So yeah.
Impostor syndrome seems to be like a never-ending problem among many people. I mean, so I have this theory personally that it never ends. You just deal with it. How do you deal with impostor syndrome?
You don't deal with it. I don't think you deal with it. Impostor syndrome is good. If you feel that you have that feeling, it means that you give a fuck. People that don't have that feeling don't give a fuck. And if you give a fuck, you're going to make things work. You get a job or you get a new client, you're going to bed thinking, can I make this happen for them? Can I deliver on my result? It means that you care. Because there are people who simply do not care.
Yeah.
They get paid for a task and they just never care. But if you have imposter syndrome, it's good. You should keep it, right? And you should just confront it and just keep doing what you're doing. And you see that when it goes away, because it never really goes away, but when it goes away from your thoughts, it comes as a result of you remembering the reps, right? If you put in crazy amount of work, right? The confidence you now get to execute just comes from remembering the amount of work that you have put in. It's as simple as that. I think Kobe Bryant said it best, right? It's the amount of work that he puts in the gym. When it now comes to, game day, it's just another training day. So imposter syndrome, I think it's a good feeling to have because it shows that you care about the result you're supposed to get. Because if it wasn't there, you wouldn't even try. But the fact that you feel that way means that you care. You care enough to not want to mess up. So, it's good. And the only way to counter it is by just putting in the reps that gives you the confidence to know that, you can actually do it.
Book smart or street smart? Which do you think is more important, or do you think is like a mix of both?
Everything in life should come with balance. I went to school with some people that were just book smart, and you realize that they don't graduate because they're just book smart. But a little bit of book smart and street smart, you know how to balance things. You know how to not be a fool, right? Because you can easily be a fool if you're just book smart. And you can easily be an idiot if you're just street smart, though you don't know anything that's in the book. So balance is everything. It should be a little bit of both, all right? You should not be a total dork or a total nerd. So, balance just makes everything good.
This has been beautiful. We're going to bring it to a wrap very soon. One of the most important questions I want to ask you is, the most successful people you've looked at and studied, what's the one common trait you think they have?
The one common trait I think they have is they do an insane amount of work and they do it like it's nothing. And I'm going to draw from one experience that I had. I think a few years ago, there was a challenge by an affiliate marketing company. People were supposed to do a number of sales to win a car, right? So I attended the event and I was there sitting in the event hall, and they called up the winners and they played the song "Stand Up for the Champions," and there was goosebumps everywhere. And I asked myself, as these people got up on stage, like, what did these 4 people do that makes them, so different from every other person here? That only them out of these hundreds and thousands of people got this award. What makes them different? And I started to break it down. It means they were able to get more sales for a product than every other person. And it means that to get those sales, they're able to get more leads than every other person. It means they put in more work to get those leads, either by spending more on advertising or just doing 10 times the work than every other person. And they didn't look any different. So the only thing I could see, I had to tell myself that, look, you have to become the kind of person who does the amount of work that it takes to do all of this to get this award and not make it look like work. That simply is just it. You go from every other person is complaining, oh, I can't generate 1,000 leads a day, but someone is doing 5,000 and they're doing it without breaking a sweat. They're doing it without making it look like work. They built the systems to handle all of that. So that's one thing I always like to look at. If I see someone I admire, I always like to look at what is the amount of work that this person has done that is making it look like child's play. Then I go try to do the amount of work. Simple.
Now, this is how I like to end these sessions. If you watch this interview, people see me and you, people say, oh, Princewill Joseph, these guys have amazing lives. They have everything all figured out. And we make us look superhuman sometimes.
So we don't.
So my question to you is, well, at this point in time, what are you still trying to figure out?
Because we don't know when we're going to die, basically. We have our whole lives ahead of us. You might live to be 200, I might live to be 1,000, right? I just want to keep the engine running. It's not time to park the car yet, right? We just want to keep the engine running. Current challenge now is, to keep scaling my marketing agency, right? Some months we're at 5K, some months we're at 10K. I still see some people who every month they're at either 100K or 200K. And it's going to be a whole lot of work to get to that point. So, that's where we are right now.
You're interested. You're not trying to figure out your life.
Of course.
So I heard that they don't have to figure it out.
With relationships, every day is a new day to learn a new side of every day is a new day to,
with all the love in your hearts, by the way.
Yeah, of course. One of the best advice I got from, a very good friend of mine when I got married was, he said, as you go into marriage, forget all the beautiful pictures you see on Instagram, how marriage is supposed to look. See yourself as, being called to serve, right? And you should enjoy
I should take that tip before I go.
You should enjoy the experience and the journey of just serving someone lovingly, right? And once the other person feels that way, it's going to be a lifetime of two people just serving each other.
Wow.
That's what makes a beautiful marriage. Two people who just enjoy serving each other. So if you just commit yourself to, look, I'm going to serve this person, and someone else says that, look, I'm going to serve this person, everything that's going to come is just going to be two of you versus the issue, and not the issue versus one person.
You guys should start. Dirty things. Hi guys, welcome to our YouTube channel. 30 things you have learned in 30 days of marriage.
I'm not doing
I'll ignore that. Beautiful. Thank you so much for coming on the show, man. This has been like an absolutely beautiful time. Thank you so much. How can people reach out to you, follow you, and all of that?
I have a YouTube channel, all right, where I share everything I can about cool email, affiliate marketing, building your own marketing agency. Princewill Chuka is the name. Also on Twitter, Instagram, same name, Princewill Chuka. So if you search Princewill Chuka on the internet, it'll be hard to miss me.
You will find
it'll be hard to miss.
That's one prideful statement I like to make. So that I say Google me, my name Joseph Dot.
It'll be hard to miss me if you search my name here.
Beautiful. Thank you for coming on the show. Please go follow Princewill Chuka. One last task for you. Ask them to subscribe to the channel.
Yes, subscribe to my channel, Princewill Chuka, on YouTube, on Instagram, on Twitter, on LinkedIn. You can follow me. I share a lot of stuff about building a marketing agency, selling digital products on the internet, and there's a lot more coming.
Are you done? And I'll tell them to subscribe to my own channel.
And subscribe to Joseph Don. He's doing something amazing, right? Bringing all of this, African entrepreneurs in one place to share their story. It's amazing. I mean, all of this knowledge will be sitting in people's heads if you didn't bring them here and call it out from their head. So give him a follow, Yeah,
thank you so much for coming on the show, man. Yes. I really appreciate it. See you next time.
All right.
Well done. All right, guys. So I'll see you in the next episode of the Entrepreneurial Connection. Keep watching. Make sure you like this episode. Leave a comment and let us know if you found it helpful. Take care of yourself and ciao.